Have you ever looked in the mirror, hated a very specific, weirdly niche part of your face that you haven't thought about since middle school, and then, not 3 minutes later, opened your phone to find an ad for a serum that targets exactly that flaw? It feels like magic. It feels like your phone is listening. It's actually worse. Your phone isn't listening to your words. It's listening to your behavior. It's reading the pauses in your scrolling. It's measuring the extra quarter of a second you lingered on a photo of someone who has the life, the jawline, or the square footage you don't. It is quantifying your insecurity, and then, before your rational brain can step in and say, hey, wait a minute, I don't even care about my jawline, it is selling you the cure. Welcome to SketchCents, where everyday money problems get broken down in plain terms, without the fluff. Today, we are looking at the psychological hack social media uses to make you spend. We are tracing the digital trail from a private, momentary feeling of self-doubt to a high-speed transaction. Because the reason you're buying things you don't need isn't necessarily that you lack discipline. It's that you are up against a billion-dollar machine designed to bypass your discipline entirely. Let's talk about what this actually feels like. You're tired. It's 10:30 p.m. The house is finally quiet. Or maybe you're just done dealing with people for the day. You sink into the couch, you pull out your phone, and you start to scroll. You aren't looking to buy anything. You're just looking to numb out for a few minutes. You scroll past a friend's baby. You scroll past a news headline that makes you mildly annoyed. You scroll past a video of a dog, and then you stop. It's an influencer. They are standing in a kitchen that looks like it was carved out of solid marble by angels. They are wearing loungewear that somehow looks both effortless and incredibly expensive. They are calmly blending a green juice, and their skin is glowing like they swallowed a light bulb. You look at the screen, and then, for just a fraction of a second, you look at your own life. You look at your stained sweatpants. You look at your kitchen counter, which currently features a stack of mail, a half-empty box of generic cereal, and a mysterious sticky spot. In that microsecond, a gap opens up. It's the gap between where you are and where you suddenly, desperately feel you should be. And right then, right in that gap, boom, the ad drops. It's not an ad for a kitchen remodel. That's too big. That requires thought. It's an ad for the blender, or the loungewear, or a $40 jar of adaptogenic greens that promises to give you that exact glow. That exact calm, that exact feeling of having your life together, and you click. You don't even think about it. You use Apple Pay, so you don't even have to get up to find your wallet. Face ID recognizes your tired, glowing screen face, and the transaction is done. You just bought a $40 powder because your kitchen is messy? This is the hack. It's not about selling you a product. It's about selling you a bridge across the gap of your own insecurity. To understand how this works, we have to look at the mechanics. How does the algorithm know? People love the theory that their phones are secretly recording their conversations. It makes us feel important in a creepy way, but the reality is much colder. The algorithm doesn't need to listen to you talk. You are already screaming your insecurities at it through your fingertips. Every platform uses a combination of data points to build a profile of you. They know your age, your location, your income bracket. That's the basic stuff. But they also track behavioral data. They track what they call dwell time. How long did you look at that post about hair loss? Did you pause on the video about organizing a chaotic pantry? Did you rewatch the reel about signs you're in a toxic relationship? They track the velocity of your scroll. They track when you are most active. They know that at 8 a.m. you're looking at news, but at 11:30 p.m. you're looking at aspirational lifestyle content. And then they connect the dots. Let's say you pause for 3 seconds on a video about teeth whitening. The algorithm notes this. It doesn't immediately hit you with a teeth whitening ad. That's too obvious. Instead, it starts serving you content that subtly reinforces the importance of a perfect smile. You start seeing more posts from influencers with blindingly white teeth. You start seeing content about first impressions. The algorithm is gently turning up the heat on that specific insecurity. It is taking a passing thought, Maybe my teeth are a little yellow, and magnifying it into a pressing problem. It manufactures the flaw, and then it amplifies the anxiety around that flaw. And once the anxiety is peaking, once you are hyper aware of this newly manufactured problem, that is when the precision engineered ad drops. It's the digital equivalent of someone walking up to you, whispering, "You look really tired today," and then immediately handing you a flyer for an overpriced under-eye concealer. Why does this work so consistently? Why do smart, rational people fall for this over and over again? Because it bypasses the logical part of your brain. When we feel anxious or insecure or inadequate, we experience a mild threat response. It's not a lion chasing us, but it's a social threat. Our brains are wired to want to belong, to be accepted, to be enough. When that feeling is threatened, we want a quick fix. We want to resolve the tension. The algorithm offers the fastest possible resolution. You feel bad? Here's a button you can press right now that will make you feel good. It's an emotional transaction masquerading as a financial one. You aren't buying a product, you're buying relief. You're buying a tiny hit of dopamine that tells your brain, okay, I solved the problem. I'm taking steps. I'm going to be better. This is why the friction of the transaction has been removed entirely. Think about how hard it used to be to buy something impulsively. You had to go to a store or find a catalog or call a 1-800 number. Even a few years ago, you had to type in your credit card number, your billing address, your security code. Every one of those steps was a speed bump. It was a moment where your rational brain could catch up and say, do we really need a countertop pizza oven at 2 a.m.? Now, the speed bumps are gone. Swipe up, double-click the side button, look at the screen, done. The entire process is designed to be faster than a second thought. It is designed to close the loop on your anxiety before your logic can intervene. It's predatory code, and it works flawlessly. Let's escalate this, because it's not just about an impulse buy here or there. It's about the cumulative effect of living in an environment designed to make you feel perpetually insufficient. When you exist in an ecosystem where your insecurities are constantly being probed and monetized, you are never done. You buy the adaptogenic greens. You feel good for about an hour, but the algorithm isn't satisfied. It has learned that you are susceptible to wellness marketing. So, next week, it's not the greens, it's a red light therapy mask. The week after that, it's a specialized cortisol-reducing supplement. It creates a treadmill of consumption fueled by a manufactured sense of lack. You are constantly trying to buy your way to a baseline of feeling okay, but the baseline keeps moving. This is why so many people feel broke, even when they're making decent money. They look at their bank statements and see death by 1,000 cuts. A $35 subscription here, a $60 TikTok shop purchase there, an Instagram ad for a shirt that looked amazing on the model and looks like a potato sack on them. It's exhausting. It feels like you're leaking money, and the worst part is the shame. You look at the pile of unused gadgets, half-empty skincare bottles, and clothes with the tag still on, and you think, why do I keep doing this? I should know better. But that's the trick. You are blaming yourself for losing a rigged game. You are bringing a rational mindset to an emotional fight against an AI that has analyzed the behavior of 1 billion people. You're doing everything right, and the math still looks offended. You're trying to budget, but it feels like using a coffee mug to stop a flood. So, how do we reframe this? How do we step out of the trap? You can't just willpower your way out of it. You can't outsmart an algorithm that doesn't sleep, but you can change the rules of engagement. First, you have to recognize the feeling. The next time you are scrolling and you suddenly feel a strong, urgent desire to buy something you didn't know existed 5 minutes ago, stop. Don't look at the product. Look at the feeling. What triggered it? Was it a post about someone else's success? Was it a subtle reminder of something you feel insecure about? Acknowledge the gap. Say to yourself, I am feeling inadequate right now, and this app is trying to sell me the cure. Just labeling it breaks the spell. It moves the process from the emotional, reactive part of your brain Back to the logical observing part. Second, reintroduce friction. If the platforms have removed all the speed bumps, you have to build your own. Turn off Apple Pay or Google Pay for impulsive purchases. Make yourself get up, find your wallet, and manually type in the credit card number. I promise you, by the time you type the expiration date, 80% of the urge will be gone. Or use the 24-hour rule. If you see something you desperately want, put it in the cart and close the app. If you still want it tomorrow and you still have the budget for it, fine. But the vast majority of these purchases are fueled by the anxiety of the moment. Once the moment passes, the desire evaporates. Finally, you have to curate your feed ruthlessly. If an influencer, a brand, or a type of content consistently makes you feel like you are falling behind, unfollow them, mute them, block them. You don't owe anyone your attention. And you certainly don't owe them your peace of mind. Your feed should not be a minefield of your own insecurities. The algorithms are incredibly powerful, but they are also deeply stupid. They only know what you tell them. If you stop engaging with content that makes you feel bad, they will stop serving it to you. You have to train the algorithm, or it will train you. This isn't about never buying anything again. It's not about living like a monk. It's about reclaiming your agency. It's about making sure that when you spend your money, you are spending it on things you actually want, not things a line of code convinced you that you desperately needed to fix a flaw it just invented. You are not a collection of profitable anxieties. You are a person, and your money should serve you, not the machine. If this episode hit a little too close to home, that's the point. Most financial mistakes don't feel like mistakes while they're happening. They feel normal, routine, even justified. That's how they quietly chip away at your wealth. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown, because each episode pulls apart another one of those normal habits that secretly cost you money. Drop a comment with the financial situation that's been bothering you, the thing that doesn't quite add up, the bill that keeps showing up, the decision you're second guessing. That's what gets decoded next. I'm Elias Thorne, and you've been watching SketchCents, where we don't just talk about money, we expose exactly where it's slipping through your hands. Catch you next time.